everybody. Welcome on into another episode of Two Fat Drunks. I'm JDV.
I'm Warpig.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about the greatest end of the world movies coming up next.
It's all over!
It's okay. I'll be fine. Hey! Welcome back on into the show. As you might know, the coronavirus is killing all of mankind and or 30 old people in Seattle.
I don't know what they're on about.
Either way,
This is fine. Doesn't taste any different.
the thought occurred that maybe we should do our top movies that involve the ending of the world. So just like all of our other shows that we deep dive on, let's explain exactly what that means.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that means when the movie starts, the fall of man has started or is already maybe halfway through, but hasn't happened yet. We're not actually in the end times yet.
Okay.
And maybe even the end times don't end up happening at the very end of the film.
Because is it prevented?
Because
or
it's
does
prevented
something
or
doesn't
it
happen?
stops. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Terminator 1 is a movie like that where it doesn't happen, but there's big chunks of that film where the end of the world has happened.
It's interesting because technically it's an apocalypse film because they're
the very
coming
end.
from the apocalypse to you.
Right.
So,
And she's
with the
driving
time-
into
right.
the mountains away from the blast zones.
Right.
Lord,
So
do
it's sort of okay.
But
right.
so it's happening. It's not Mad Max. It's not Book of Eli.
It is not post-apocalyptic.
It's not Nine
It's
Monkeys or
apocalyptic.
whatever. Yeah, it's not Planet of the Apes. It's not the society that springs up after the end.
But wait a minute. But Planet of the Apes, which Planet of the Apes you talking about? You talking about the original or the new one? Because the newer one just kind of show you happening. Showing happening,
Yeah,
right?
I'm talking about the original. I can't hardly.
You're talking about, okay,
Yeah, I do think the first Planet of the Apes kind of sets it out. But that was one of the big disappointments of the second, the sequel to the remake, is that they don't show the fall. It's already happened. So they don't show
Don't
it
you
to
think
you.
that's kind of lame? I mean, that really needs to happen in your film. But anyways,
So I just thought when I missed them. Anyway,
Okay, go ahead.
Before we go any further, if you like this kind of content, and if you like our other movies like Reanimated, our coronavirus zombie movie, then check out our Patreon link. If you can give us $1, 50 cents, whatever, we spend it all just keeping the lights on and buying new equipment. So
shocked what I do for a nickel.
the movie that immediately pops into my mind when I was thinking about that is the original Dawn of the Dead.
You talking about this 1978?
George A. Romero, 1978. The
Dario
first
Argento.
sequel to
His first
to
sequel.
Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
It's just there's just something about that movie that is
It,
in part because it's so handmade.
there's that, and the
music
characters
is dope as hell.
and the characters are actually interesting. They're just bland enough to be normal. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not like
Ken Foree is a superhero,
he's a superstar in the movie.
but you buy him as a normal.
He's
just
a normal dude,
normal badass,
right? He's you would meet that guy. You've probably met that guy. I mean, they're all kind of normal, and that sort of distinguishes them from the remake,
by-
where they're all sort of bigger than life.
played by
These-
non-professional actors. Really.
just right, act the complete community theater.
The music,
that's
the
not
tone.
a diss. It's not a hate on
No,
them.
it's
That's
not.
just true, and it's doesn't mean the performance
It
is bad.
does have
just,
that sort of pseudo documentary feel that
Right.
the first movie has. It's
Pittsburgh, public access TV.
I'll put a link on this one. There's a super long, like 2 hours and 40-minute long version
Yeah, like mega
on YouTube.
extended.
That's great. I mean, it really shows. Like,
Was it music by Goblin?
yeah,
Because Dario Argento is like, what was he for this? He
did
wasn't
the music and sound effects.
He
for
did
it.
something. Yeah, I knew he was involved, and it had that.
The music's fantastic. Look, it invents the trope of the mall of the chopping.
Yeah, oh, dude, that is huge because that gets used quite a bit, and he was the
everything
first
from-
one to call that out. Like,
from
hey,
everything from
these
board
would-
games on. Then he can
Right.
really have the social commentary and all that.
It's a level in Left 4 Dead, dude.
Yeah,
The mall level. Actually, Left 4 Dead 2, excuse me.
It's just a great. I mean, the blood effects aren't so great, and now it is very old film. It's almost
Sure. But it's
30,
still
40 years old.
fun, and it still shows you, like, societal breakdown. Like the scene in the apartments, that whole sequence is pretty good. When they, I mean, not to spoiler alert, but I
when
mean,
they're clearing out the
when they go to the
tenements,
basement, when they go to that tenement house, that's grim, dude.
And the scene right before that, when they're in the very first scene of the movie, when they're in the TV station and everybody's still there trying to, put up the cue cards, but everyone's starting to panic. It's
right.
like,
and they're like, why are you showing these stations? These stations have been closed. We got to keep those up.
And by the very end of the film, the zombies have completely taken over.
It's over, right? At that point, there's roving biker gangs.
It shows you the full arc in a way that no other movie really does, except maybe Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. Or maybe War of the Worlds, the George Pal original.
That shows it.
Those are the two other movies that, in my mind, where the whole movie is showing it going from 10 to 9 to 8, to 6, 5, I mean, all the way down to either 1 or 0. Like in War of the Worlds, humanity actually ends up surviving on a fluke, right? And in the zombie movies or Last Man on Earth, which is based on I Am Legend.
Richard Matheson. Yeah.
Which Night of the Living Dead is based
Richard
on
Matheson,
too.
kids. A lot of shit based on his work.
Well, anyway, those 3 movies, the whole movie is showing the fall of mankind. The way that the first 3 or 4 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead really concentrated on, hey, society is still going. Are we going to work today? Are we going to school today?
How does shit hit the fan?
And then 3 scenes later, we're definitely not going to school. And now, can mankind survive? To 4 scenes after that, to mankind's doomed.
Yeah,
or
and that does take you right through it, and
so they're
showing
actually,
you this exact progression.
Not a lot of movies do that.
Can I give you one?
You had a couple of good ones.
I do, and honestly, we already talked about it, but just taking that example to the logical extreme. 1978 fucking Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Dude, that does. It starts you off with a spore hitting the leaf at the very beginning, and it grows out, and you're like, oh, check that out. And that's it.
And by the end, it's
the shit has hit the fan, dude. I mean, and you're watching it.
And the whole movie is the way the original is. Now, the original has a more upbeat ending in that, hey, we're heading them off. We found
God, stop them immediately.
But that's not there. But it's kind of like the example in War of the Worlds. In the Spielberg version is pretty good, too. Where even though they pull it out of the fire at the very end, the whole movie is basically getting an ass kick.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot you can do.
And you're right. The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, both of them show that
the progression.
And I think the original is actually more effective in a lot of ways because it shows it happening to a smaller group of people quicker
than Invasion, right? But then again, you got to think about this.
It's not as paranoid, though.
Because really, because of where they're at, right? Mm-hmm. They can do 2 things that the original can't do. They can isolate you in a giant city, right? And that's hard. And then show you, dude, being in a giant city during an apocalypse, not a great idea. Especially for this particular reason, but I mean in general. And they walk you right through it. By the time you got troops going, form lines, take pods, and do this, I mean, it gets that level of organization in less than an hour. You're like, oh, this sucks.
The original, it's amazing how taut it is. I mean, it goes A to B to Z. I mean,
it's a great movie, dude. Kevin McCarthy. Oh, it's fantastic. You know who else?
They're both great.
Yvonne DiCarlo.
Yeah.
Carolyn Jones. Carolyn Jones from the Addams Family.
One of the 2.
Yeah, it's the blonde chick. Anyways.
Anyway, those are 2 great movies. The remake has more of has probably more rewatchability factor from, like, at certain points, once you rewatch, you go, oh, this one's one, this one. What time does Nimoy become one? It's hard. It's really hard to say.
It is. It's got a little bit of the thing in it, but nowhere near as complex.
The reason, the thing is because the whole world, yes, weighs in a balance, but the whole world isn't getting BF'd. It's just
it's just this little group of guys and the implication of it.
Now, what about, like, Prince of Darkness or In the Mouth of Madness? Because those are both also where we're seeing
the apocalypse happen, right?
They show a lot more of it in The Mouth of Madness.
Hey, I got one for you that you would not have thought of.
Well, wait, what about those 2 before we move
on? Okay, Prince of Darkness.
I think they do count.
Probably more sinister, than Mouth of Madness, even though Mouth of Madness is H.P. Lovecraft and I love it. But Prince of Darkness is just
seems more sciencey.
It does. It just seems more real.
It seems more possible.
Honestly,
because
the
there's
scariest
time
part,
travel and
the
everything.
scariest part of that movie is the dream.
Yeah.
That's scary, dude, because I've been trying to imagine the idea of somebody doing
You're
that to you.
listening to us from 1913 or 1995.
What you are seeing is real. This is a live broadcast. And I'm like, oh.
Right.
But no, dude, the movie that I thought of,
The Mist is one.
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods is one. Yeah, except
Cabin in
that
the Woods.
we don't know until the very last scene.
Boy, you know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It is a movie.
They're fucking this group of characters over for a reason.
It is a movie that goes apocalypse as a result. You see what I'm saying? Like, before then, it was not an apocalypse film. But boy, at the end, it's like, and it's over worldwide.
That leads into another kind of category of these things. Movies like that one is like The Day After, where most of the film is the lead up to the
to the bam. And okay, so
and Terminator 1 and 2 have that element too. Anytime you have an atomic
interesting.
war,
Right, there's a catastrophism
you're leading up to
element.
the war, but everything,
And then-
you still have gas, you still have TV, and then flash,
and then
everything's going.
boom, right. So that's an interesting distinction. I didn't
So
think about
what
that.
I kind of call those is the before after apocalypse, movie.
Right.
So
Dude.
they really don't fit into what I'm. They don't quite fit into the category when, to me, the whole movie or 90% of the movie should be
The Fall.
watching it checked out
Instead of suddenly go,
so
"Oh,
the day
shit."
after Terminator, Terminator 2,
Terminator 3.
even Terminator 3
That's an apocalypse.
don't quite do it because no one knows it's going on except for our characters, just like in the
right.
Thing.
And then it doesn't occur to them until the very end that, oh shit.
Right. So it's
About to all go down, Billy.
the reality is there's very few films that have ever been made that are simply showing the fall of mankind kind
Right.
of semi real time. Like the remake of Dawn of the Dead is really incredibly strong first 10, 15 minutes of that film. But the reality is that most of that film concentrates on after the fall. I mean, like when the TV goes off, you know, like, oh, I want to have sex with little Mary Jane Rottencrotch. She's probably dead. They're all dead. You know, I mean, by
Right.
that point in the film, it's already gone.
Right. It's
But
just like,
and yet at the very
what's the news?
even near the end, of the original Dawn of the Dead, there's still biker gangs running around. There's,
It's
not
just become a new reality.
Whereas in
instead of,
Day of the Dead, no, now it's over.
Dude,
Biker gangs are
Day of the
gone.
Dead,
You
you're
guys
already
are-
there.
yeah,
This
you're
is,
there. So-
it don't get no worse than this.
So
you're
the
here.
Day After, I know we just
Because Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead is post-apocalyptic.
Day After is a ABC TV movie that was a big damn deal in the mid '80s because it was ultra realistic. Jason Robards went at a time when big Hollywood
I remember when that
actors
happened.
weren't in TV movies. It had a big effect on people. It's a
wonder
very
anything.
good film, but they don't really. Yeah, they show you the after effects of the apocalypse,
But they don't. You're not.
and they show just before
It's
the
a
apocalypse.
flash, right.
But
It's just-
because it's an atom bomb,
boom, and you're dead, right?
which
And
is
then now
the
it's
exact opposite of a film that does fit in our category, and that is The Children of Men.
Yes.
Which there's never any bomb. There's never really going to be any fires or alien invasions or anything. It's just we can't
it's
reproduce.
just a slow decline,
Yeah,
right?
we just grow old, and that's it.
and that's it. So it begs the
So
question:
scary as fuck if that happened and could happen.
Is
the
Children
most
of Men-
realistic of all of them.
Is Children of the Men post-apocalyptic?
Well, it isn't.
I mean, is it? I mean,
because in total, it's not.
you mean so the apocalypse
But
isn't
yes,
accomplished until everyone's dead, or you see what I'm saying?
but that film, well, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, right.
But yes,
Okay.
well, that's an interesting film. The film starts off in the post-apocalypse,
it's great.
and then slips into not. But again, on the end, so maybe it doesn't count because the
because it's a
apocalypse has
recovery,
happened,
right? And then you kind of come out of it. It's more of a
Even though
temporary condition.
so it's like a one generation apocalypse.
So, as
and
far-
then everything springs back to normal, presumably.
Yeah, because you're right. Because there's very few films that do. Here's one that does, and this will be a good one actually. The Stand.
Yeah.
The Stand TV miniseries.
Well,
that
the
takes
Stand book does.
Yeah,
the movie,
but the movie
skips to the end times pretty quick.
But
They're
they
in
do
Colorado
show
pretty
you
quick.
some instances.
Some.
They at least take 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But you're right. The book is, well, of course, the book is way more detailed, but
Yeah.
it does at
Well, it'll be
least show
interesting
you
to
the
see-
fall happens.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the remake, how much time. Again, definition is clicking down from...
So the
From
fall,
10 to 0
it is
or 10 to
it is-
1.
It starts in normal and goes to apocalypse, and here's how it works.
Right.
Okay.
Right, so...
So we left off on The Stand.
The Stand is definitely more so, in my mind, the book.
It does, yeah, because the book does
And
detail.
to be,
better.
I mean, let's just exclude TV because right off the bat, then you have to start counting Battlestar Galactica. You have to start Walking
Right.
Dead, Fear the Walking. It's just World War, or not World War Z, but Z Nation.
He's a good one.
Yeah, so we.
But
can talk-
even so, yeah, you're right, because the fall doesn't happen for that long. You need a movie about as it breaks down.
Yeah, and
Like,
even
okay, where are you at?
I'd say the TV show that shows the fall the most is actually Fear the Walking Dead, and it only spends 3 or 4 episodes, and then it's
That's
already
true.
over.
That's true. So here's an interesting question.
Well,
Where does-
we'll just mention Walking Dead real quick. Walking Dead, 28 days later, both happen by definition after the fall of mankind.
yeah, because they both wake up similarly.
They wake up.
It's already happened, and they're
already
in
happened.
hospital. Like, oh,
Right,
what,
and then,
what-
then
what-
they are having to deal with
which is a cool setup, but
Jesus God. Attacked by monsters.
it's over.
Styrofoam kills us all.
The secret die.
It is an interesting thing if you really put it in that category because
That light, right?
and we were talking kind of, we had to stop the camera. The difference between Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price
Right.
and the other 2 tales of that, Omega Man and I Am Legend, both have flashbacks to the fall happening.
But the falls. This is it.
Right, but when the
you
movie,
are here. When the movie opens, you're there.
when you open, you're already in the aftermath.
Dude, the I Am Legend open is actually pretty damn good. That's where they have Emma Thompson on TV doing the TV interview. And like, we may have a vaccine for cancer within the next 3 months. And then you see the flooded Lincoln Tunnel, and it's like 6 months later. You're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, no, it's a very effective one. I love that movie, and I love World War Z. World War Z is a lot like Dawn of the Dead, though, the remake.
It
Where
spends a little bit of time in the
You
breakdown.
have 10, 15 minutes showing the fall of man, and then
it's boom.
And then the whole rest of the movie's, it's over, and now we're trying to come back.
Although, if you include the Israel sequence from World War Z, you might give that a more.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like that was Israel was still a going thing. Like he was still trying to travel to like India and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that. So you can give it a little. Remember they go to Korea, right? You got to get the Z's.
Yeah, I
Those
guess
guys
it's
on the
just
air-
kind of
it
like
just-
whatever the zombies have been, they're wiped
Right,
out.
that-
It's like
that's
an
sort of
atom bomb.
You're following the explosion, right?
Yeah,
You're
so like
following
he's
the
kind of
shockwave.
dodging atom bombs, but when these zombies happen or get there, there's no stopping them.
Here's an interesting one.
So, but World War Z definitely, I would think, fits in our category,
Definitely.
maybe even more than
Just
Children
based
of
on those
Men.
mentions. Now, here's an interesting one, right?
I know we.
This is a much slower pace, but it really does kind of bring you right into it. Is the Nick Cage movie Knowing? Remember that movie? It's about the aliens who contact this little girl in the past, and she wrote these numbers down. And
So it's a little bit like Prince of Darkness.
you know, you could make a connection.
Or Seven
there.
Monkeys
You
or
could
Nine
make a
Monkeys,
connection
whatever.
there
What the hell
because
is the name of that one?
oh well, we'll be more specific. Who's in it?
Terry Gilliam, Brad.
That's
Pitt.
Seven Monkeys. Yeah,
It is
Brad
Seven
Pitt and
Monkeys.
Bruce Willis.
I can always
actually.
forget if it's Nine Monkeys or something.
Right. It's
I
some kind
didn't-
of monkey movie.
I didn't care
don't
for that
know.
film.
There's a bunch of monkeys. What do you
I didn't love it.
Which leads you to
But so yeah, Knowing.
knowing because that one is an alien one where the aliens aren't causing it. They're coming to tell you about it, and but then you kind of
It's been a while since I saw it.
yeah. I mean, it's a good movie. It just sort of. It's bringing you into the apocalypse, but you just don't know it.
What
Like,
about,
you still think it's all going to be good. Like, no, it's not.
So really, you're talking about you have your alien invasion films,
Yep.
which are usually either spaceships blowing us up, pew pew, War of the Worlds, Independence Day, Very good tales of this kind. I think
Right.
the original War of the Worlds is the best of those pew pew kinds. You have the alien assimilation type, like The Thing and
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Invasion of Body Snatchers.
Yep.
But Thing never becomes Apocalypse. They stop it before it can hit.
Well, essentially,
it just kills
right.
15 people. Okay,
It was on. If they had not done that,
right.
yeah,
The
it's
world
Apocalypse.
was threatened, but never.
Never actually happens.
And then there's a movie like Annihilation, which is kind of.
It kind of rides the line because
And Color Out of Space is very with Nick Cage. That's what made me think of it. Is heavily influenced by Annihilation. It really is. That's an underrated film, I think.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
like a
sort of
slow.
like,
That's in between The Thing and Invasion
right,
because
they don't really. I mean,
they only conquer a
Apocalypse
small part of the world.
is implied because
Right.
there's nothing you can do. Like it's just, and they kind of introduce you to that idea that nope, this is over.
But
and
you do
here
get
it
the
comes.
idea that mankind will die if this thing.
Yeah, oh, it's inevitable at that point. Like, yep, there's not much. You can
And then
do.
at the end of Annihilation, there's definitely some very heavy Thing elements or Body Snatcher elements.
right, because you got the possession, the taking, like
then, of
almost
course,
like your
you know-
absorption, if you will.
You know, and the zombies, of course, I Am Legend. You know, Last Man on Earth. I know we mentioned that real quick. It's a really effective film. There's a part in Last Man on Earth where they are bulldozing bodies into a burning pit of bodies, and they pretty much show it.
That's pretty Italian, man.
It's pretty heavy duty, and because they're in some kind of modern city in the 50s,
It has
in
that
Italy,
effect, right?
Yeah, it's like the future New York would look, maybe, or something. It's a very, very strong film. But they show a lot of the disaster happening.
Here's an interesting question: Would you consider Soylent Green to be an apocalyptic film?
No, any more than I've seen that. And I've seen Blade Runner on these kind of lists too, because like, oh,
right,
it's really
Blade Runner's
no,
not
it's just,
really. That's dystopian.
Just because it
It's dystopian.
sucks doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's
Right. It's
we're
not necessarily
we're not
apocalypse.
extinct in 1984. We're not extinct in Soylent Green. We're everywhere in those movies. It's
Right.
just gross
It's just
and
gross.
hot.
You got to cut this right here. Sorry, dude.
You literally have it now, don't you?
Dude, I fucking my allergies. Go
It's just
crazy.
started.
What?
Are you?
Dude, allergies. I get them every year.
Yeah.
Oh, you're as good as Dad.
Oh man, you're so dead.
Dad, you don't even know it.
And the Mist, where does that fit in there? That's
That's interesting because
because there's no weapon,
Is the
but it's
Mist-
also not trying to take you over either.
right, it's just sort of oops.
It's kind of like if Alien ever hit the Earth.
It's interesting that in both cases, both the Mist and the Stand, it's what would the Stand really? Wait, yeah, it does.
The Mist shows
both
the
the
fall.
Mist and the Stand are both because of government experiments. The Mist is a
Yeah.
Project Arrowhead from the Air Force Base, and the Stand starts
It's
at
like-
an Air Force Base.
It's a bioweapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a straight up bioweapon.
And by the way, dude, the Don't Fear the Reaper sequence from the Stand. I mean, whatever faults that movie has,
It made Gary Sinise, man.
dude. All our times
That's right from the start.
You're
the
going through
opening
that lab.
sequence,
You're
yeah.
like, oh fuck me, dude! It went south.
But again, that particular film does not show very much of the fall. And
Yeah,
and
but
because
at least
there's
it gives you 2 episodes
and
of
because almost all the other movies we talk about. In fact, I think all of the other films. Maybe this is a good defining
Okay.
part of it. Is all of them except In the Mouth of Madness and The Stand are straight hard sci-fi. Really, when you get down to it.
it. Yeah. There's not a supernatural.
fantasy in it.
Very few supernatural.
Cabinet of Wood,
apocalyptic
which
films.
you mentioned, that has that.
It's some
Mouth
right.
of Madness has it.
Supernatural apocalyptic films.
Even Prince of Darkness does have it because it is supposed to be the devil, right?
You know what? Honestly, what?
But that's hard science in there too.
Right.
It just says the devil is real and basically is an expert at math, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do what Doom should have did. Like rip open a hole of reality and devils come through and shit. And that's when it's over. It's like, oh wow, you just got took over. It's over.
Right.
And demons come out of everywhere. But even with that, it would happen at X speed. right? Like, let's say a whole reality is opened up by CERN and demons start pouring through. Well, it would be some time before you were aware of the presence of
We don't
demons.
see the click down again.
Right, you'd be like, something's going on in Europe. What happened? I don't know, the whole place went
Mist,
dark. Which is
though,
a kind of a great
but the mist is
suggestion, to be
definitely
honest with
hardcore
you.
science. It's just we
It's
we
just-
split a dimension, monsters pour out of it,
And that's
just
that, right.
Start eating. It's basically Jurassic World from Devil World X is here
Right.
to kill you. The other movie I thought of, a lot of people don't think of it this way, is the Planet of the Apes series. And I'm talking about...
The modern or the...
Well, I'm
original?
specifically talking about the originals because I like those much better than I like any of the
Right,
remakes.
so, but I want to be clear because there are some people who haven't seen the original.
However, even the remakes have this in common. Only one of the Planet of the Apes films really shows you the fall, even really all happening, and that is actually the fifth one. I believe it's called Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. It is the one where
People forget they made that many
the
of them.
baby sees. It actually heavily influences the set design of Star Wars 1. It's the costumes and the lighting, the how they build the sets and everything. It's a very influential film in that regard, and it shows like the little baby Caesar, the child of
Go ahead and say it. The gorilla.
the chimpanzee
Must have been a chimp.
from the other films.
Go beat this chimp, champ. Don't be a chump, champ. Sorry, you were saying?
Apollo.
Do us all a favor. Drop this chump.
It shows that the simians starting to take over the world. Now it's not the biggest part of the film, but it does show you them gaining traction and the rebellion spreading to all of these simian slaves of humans.
I would rate your intelligence as simian. Thanks, man.
Well, thank you. That is one. All the other Planet of the Apes films
It's over.
show you
Right.
show you the aftermath
I mean,
of the horrible
even
plague
the first one,
or
right,
whatever it is that
it already
wipes us out.
happened and it's over.
Right, in the original movies, it's atomic bombs, and in the remake, it's bioweapon. Right, it's.
You know what one is fun that presents probably the worst apocalyptic scenario, at least as far as zombie movies are concerned.
No beer.
God, what kind of nightmare.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, dude, the movie that would do that is Return of the Living Dead, because their version is the apocalypse. It just is sort of, once they nuke the place and you know it's
Right.
over, then you're like, dude, no, that's apocalypse, man.
But it's one of those movies, though. If Return of the Living Dead had started in the very last scene of Return of the Living Dead,
you be dealing with it right.
then you'd be dealing with the film we're talking about. We'd be talking about, you see the zombies whittle us down to nothing, which you do pretty much see in Dawn of the Dead. I mean,
Right.
you see that progression of the newscast, holy God, zombies are real and they're attacking you, and that, you know.
We're going off the air.
Yes, Return of the Living Dead absolutely says at the end of Return of the Living Dead, like 60 days from now, mankind's dead.
Right.
You
Yes,
know?
sir. No,
That's
man,
actually one of
get
the
it.
things we're trying to do in our zombie series, Reanimated, is show you the fall a lot more than you get to see normally.
Yeah, because that's a tough analysis, because you really do have to sort of look at.
And let me tell you
Let's
why it's
run
not
through the
done
simulation
often, because
see what
it's
happens.
hard
It
to do.
is hard to predict,
It's-
because you got to make a lot of.
because you got to be really super nitty gritty real about it. That's why they're like
Because it doesn't work.
War
It's
of the
not.
Worlds works that way. The two Invasion of the Body Snatchers movies works that way, and the Vincent Price movie.
And the very
works
intro
because they
of
show
Dawn
you
of the
like,
Dead, right.
oh my God, I have to grind up garlic and put it in water. We have to find gasoline.
We don't have water.
Right.
What? What do you mean?
We've run out of food. They do become very kind of mundane.
Baby, listen to me. The trucks aren't coming.
Right.
What do you mean?
There's no toilet paper, Margaret. That toilet paper would be the big survivalist thing that comes out of the coronavirus. Shows you what a fastidious people Americans really are.
My God,
that's-
we can't
We're
take
not
a
worried
shit.
about canned food. No, like how the hell am I going to wipe my ass, Margaret? Tell me, okay?
Listen, I take some pretty hellacious
You watch,
shit, so I'm not afraid to tell you.
A hometown prepper show
Kids, bidets. What?
or a shower?
The virus! It's in the toilet paper. Oh God!
That's how they spread it. That toilet.
Oh God! It's spreading it everywhere.
Yeah, I'm starting a black market toilet.
Where did it go? They were selling it for $50 a case on fucking Amazon.
But those kind
What?
of movies to me are fascinating.
They are great.
Because the post-apocalyptic ones, well, yeah, maybe it'll be
You're
like
kind of making it up, right?
But at
Like,
least
and here's our made-up
in
world.
all of the It's Happening movies, they get to do kind of show you like Boy Scout type stuff. Like in Dawn of the Dead original, they're going into the gun store that's in the mall, already hilarious concept.
Right. Gun stores at
And picking out the guns and which one looks cooler.
hell yeah.
And like they're picking the guns
Load up.
basically for their cool factor too. And like
this gun is sweet.
and all
bro.
you can think of is, yeah, by that point, fuck it. Why not? I mean, we're only here because we're cool.
The scene where they go in the bank inside there and like throw money around, like fuck it.
No, I think
we're
by
robbing the
California
bank.
he goes, you never know. It starts stuffing it in. And
That's
that
funny.
is a movie that just takes its sweet time. And
Yeah, because at
And-
that point you're like, fuck it.
it's
see what happens.
and The Mist is a movie that does that too.
It like a microcosm, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of a like in one
But everywhere that
store.
Mist goes, kind of like in
It's
World War
over.
Z, it's over.
Right.
And that the Planet of the Apes film,
I have
it really
one-
does show, like
so, okay.
show how this rebellion grows. The Animatrix is kind of like
Where
that.
does-
Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I have, as a matter
That's
of fact.
of course it's only 10 minutes long, but that shows you how the robots begin to overcome man,
Here's a
and
funny question.
And us
Here's
losing
a
the
funny
fight.
question.
that's probably actually the
Where
best
does
one.
where does Mars Attacks fit in this?
Well, there are some comedies like
Mars Attacks,
9 and-
right? But Mars
in our
Attacks,
very own Living Dead world. There's a lot of comedy in that.
right? What I'm saying is, in that movie,
And Return of the Living
you're
Dead.
watching it break down. I mean, it's like because once the aliens get a foothold here,
Well, maybe that's another aspect of these films. Is not all the films that every single film we've mentioned is not a joyride. I mean, they're
Right.
all
Dude, this
tough
all
movies.
sucks,
Hey,
dude.
Independence Day, they're blowing down towns like it's free.
oh yeah, when
for
it
the
hits,
fir-
that's a great.
the first half hour, 45 minutes, like when the airplane's taking off and the explosions are following
like-
them. You know, they're like, "Holy shit!"
This sucks. Like, ooh, we just got ass fucked.
That's
What the
really
hell?
a heavy bit.
It is.
in that film. It's not as gritty as either one of the War of the Worlds, but it's pretty heavy, dude.
Well, you know what's funny? We haven't mentioned, and I can see why because it does fall.
Well,
into
talking about comedies, Idiocracy.
That's an apocalyptic film.
Yeah, it's already happened.
That's a post-apocalyptic
That- yeah, exactly.
film. Yeah, Idiocracy. Is
Yeah,
a
I already worked that one out
post-apocalyptic
in my
film.
mind, right?
Yep, good one. That's a good one, bro.
Right, because
Yeah.
it's happened.
Idiocracy. It is right. And of all the ones you're gonna go, wow, which one's gonna happen?
Joe was the smartest man on earth.
Really, guys, I'm not that smart. Really, seriously.
I'm
But I'm pretty
he's
sure
smart.
if you put water on crops, they'll grow.
Like from the toilet? That don't make
Here,
any sense.
listen to fun bags here.
Well, here, grab me that line. Wait, I'm kind of toying with the idea of remaking Idiocracy.
Just by putting a
But
video
just a-
camera in any random cafeteria.
No. Just by replacing the soundtrack, which is a happy
Right,
comedic,
with
something like
something
from Logan's
sinister.
Run or something.
Or whatever.
Yeah, blah.
hear
Womp, womp, womp. Or Terminator, bum, 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 bum.
The chance to start again in a new life.
Well, just
Try the Outworld
1984 was on
Colony.
the other day with John Hurt, Richard Burton.
Richard Button.
That's not one you want to take the in-laws to.
It was like,
Well, we all gonna
this
die.
really sucks.
I'd like Brazil. It doesn't count. Yeah, world sucks, but world's not going to end either.
No, it's just
It just
shit,
sucks.
right?
The world's shit, but we're not done. Are we missing any other kind of? Well, you were talking about the ones I just didn't count at all. The ones like the weather movies.
Well,
like Waterworld. No, A, it already happened, and B, I don't buy it.
Well, it's
20
the same reason why we're
2012.
leaving out Mad Max, the entire series.
It already happened.
It already happened.
It already happened.
Like the original Mad Max,
I don't. You almost can't even count it. It's so
Because-
far different than the rest.
right?
of the movies.
Because how? That's an interesting question. Because really, Mad Max, the original, is not itself that apocalyptic. It's just
it's just ass. It's like
right. It's more like Hills.
it's
Have
like
Eyes.
Madrugs or whatever.
Right.
From, Clockwork Orange.
Right. But
Medjugorje.
Road Warrior, yeah, that's funny because there is a distinction between two movies. The original Mad Max, not really apocalyptic.
It shows
Road Warrior,
maybe,
apocalyptic.
it shows you maybe a society that is breaking
In decline.
down that would allow itself to nuke itself, and now 30 years later, here he is after they nuked themselves after the events not really seen in the first one.
And now with coronavirus, go begging.
They don't
for
ever
a
show any
nuke.
nukes in that movie, right? In the first one?
They just sort of tell you, and mankind went to war because anyone with a nuclear weapon sucks.
Right, it's just
everything up, and it's
right. We hope we get a budget for the next film.
all right. Push enough buttons here.
Right? Yeah, it has nothing to do with atomic bombs. It just
There's no atomic weaponry.
But yeah, idiocracy in comedies. There's the Woody Allen one, Sleeper. Right, that's post-apocalyptic.
No, it's not post-apocalyptic because it's more like 1984, where it's dystopian. It's taking you to a dystopia.
It's been a long time since I saw that.
Right? No, it's good. It's a good choice, and actually, Woody Allen.
No. Nope. Move on.
Yeah. No. But so yeah.
Why bother
For movies, for apocalyptic movies,
Dude,
or
I mean,
movies
really
the
though.
apocalypse is
We've
happening.
kind of really been able to
run the
deep
gamut, right?
In each one of these kind of movies, but the reality is, we're only at 10 movies,
and really,
and we're pushing it.
Very few of them are based on viruses. Like some are,
almost all the zombie,
but not necessarily. Like, right? Because okay, like let's take I Am Legend for example.
Definitely.
Well, that was intentional.
Yeah, but
you
a
see,
bio
it wasn't because right. But you see what I'm saying? That was an intentional attack.
An unintentional
that could make it like
bioweapon.
any other weapon, as opposed to, whoa, we just got a nasty bug. Like, there's only a few movies that do that, and most of them
Contagion.
are not. But they, yeah, right. But they're not apocalyptic. Like
I just
the
don't
virus
buy it,
doesn't.
yeah.
Right. You see what I'm saying? It just doesn't blow everybody out. So that's where
Now, you almost need them to be zombies because these things, even in the Black Death,
It'll fizzle
losing
out.
a third or half of your population is horrifically humanity-changing event.
Absolutely.
But civilization does not.
But yeah, we're still here.
It does not.
It will be.
London
here
is
after
still
this
going to be
shit.
there. It's
Right.
just going to be cheap rent. You know, it's and that's why those kind of films really don't make the list.
But because it doesn't really happen. Like, you almost always stop it. Like, there's no movies that show like that sort of thing happening. The other movie
that kind of does actually is Nosferatu, the remake, because when Klaus Kinski shows up to wherever he goes to, he brings the plague with him, and he does kill that whole town dead. I mean, that's part of how he can succeed, is that there's no one to stop him. They're all gone.
Oh, what stops me?
Yeah, but it almost doesn't matter how the zombies come back to life. Whatever. Okay, so the zombies are here. And it's
But right,
definitely-
but it's not a virus film. It's a zombie film. A virus is featured, maybe that causes it, but it's not a virus film. The same way, like
it is at least,
the same
it's
way,
a
like
viable gag. The way that Alien Invasion is a viable gag.
the same way that
Atomic
remember that
War
movie-
and Robots.
Remember
It's
that movie,
viable.
The Bay?
Yeah, with
Remember that
the,
movie with the shit
environmental
water because it came out of the chicken
disaster.
shit, right? Yeah. But that was, it's definitely not
That's sort of like the
apocalyptic,
fog, though.
right?
Yeah,
Right, there's no apocalypse. It's just very local.
Right, well, this is a crazy long thing. I'm sorry for this.
Our long
but,
form is not so bad, really, though.
No,
You're okay at that.
So these anyway. The whole reason to do this topic to me
Yes.
is because these are fun movies to watch. When
They
you're
are
in the
fun.
middle of the coronavirus,
Right,
And,
man.
Well, hey, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, whatever the hell you have to do at the Patreon.
Lots of words here, Billy.
Go over to our homepage. Buy a
Do
t-shirt.
something, use a couple shekels there and the thing. The guide here. And,
Hopefully everyone stays healthy, like each other, subscribe, share, love each other, and until next time, mwah! I smelt it.
You gonna put her in charge?
You smell that shit, Dewey?
That's right, Hudson.
I've actually had
There's
it for
freedom
weeks.
without.
There is freedom within.
I can't remember the other line, but it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, the crowded house.
It's a really great song. Probably not as intended. But still pretty cool.
Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, hey now.
When the world comes in, they'll come
To build a wall between us.
No.
Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.